I'm actually sharing the link with my friends here. A lot of our friends want to come in and listen in.
Cool.
All right. And welcome to NerdFlow Podcast. This is issue 149 of NerdFlow Podcast. This is a podcast all about nerding out on all things pop culture, from video games, anime, TV shows, pro wrestling, you name it. We talk about it on NerdFlow Podcast. This is a Press Play Network podcast, so you can also enjoy other shows that are on as far as Reject Radio, Three Kings, or just some of the name a few. All Into Wrestling is another bonus show. After Credits is another one that talks about TV shows. So please make sure you guys go check that out. NerdFlow Podcast is available on all major podcast platforms. So wherever you choose to listen to podcasts, we are on there. So today, man, today is a special day. So, I mean, if you follow our social media, you kind of know what's going on today. But first and foremost, please make sure you guys, IG, Twitter, Instagram, all that good stuff. You can search NerdFlow or NerdFlow Podcast to follow, like, subscribe to the show. We also have a YouTube channel. If you have like YouTube Premium, where you can listen just to the audio only, this show does hit YouTube minutes after we're done. Right now we're live on Spreaker at the moment. So in these shows, we do these shows live every single Sunday at 9:30 p.m. Central Time. So make sure you guys drop us a subscribe, give us a thumbs up on the video, trying to hit that 100 subscriber mark so we can get that official URL. We also have t-shirts through Teespring. You can go over there and pick up some nice NerdFlow Podcast merch, and we also have the affiliate program with superhero stuff. So if you're into nerd paraphernalia from Marvel, DC, Star Wars, you name it, you can click the link in the description, and that will help out the show. So today we have a very special guest with us today. His credit, or what things he's appeared in, is Spider-Man Far From Home. Is probably one of the very things a lot of people would know. And then in addition to that, he also has appeared in several other things also. The other is going to be Get Rich Free is another one, and Look Twice. He's actually in Look Twice, I want to say, if I remember looking at the IMDb, I think he actually did. He's the star of Look Twice. So, but today we have a special guest with us today, Darren Lee Campbell.
Welcome.
Thank you guys. Thank you for having me.
Hey, it's an honor to have you on the show. This is a big deal for us personally. So
yes, very much so.
Oh, definitely. Same for me, guys. I appreciate you guys, even wanting to have me on here, to speak. It's definitely a humbling experience for me as well. So thank you.
Thank you. Tink, I will let you kick it off, ma'am.
Alrighty. What's up, Darren?
How you doing?
I'm doing good. Okay, so I'm going to start it off by asking a couple of questions.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm gonna start off with what made you want to get into acting?
Well, I'm originally from Cleveland, Ohio, and at our high school, we put on like a film festival every year, and I participated in one, and I enjoyed it a lot. It was I had a couple of friends. We just put together something really quick, and we shot this little like horror film called Treasure, and we showed it in the auditorium. Basically it was about 200-300 people that showed up to watch it, and just the reaction from the crowd when they were watching the film, and everyone clapping and laughing at our scenes. And I ended up getting the Best Actor award. I got the award for Best Actor, and that like surprised us. I was like, maybe there's something I could, get into later. I thought about it, and then I remember when I applied for college, I changed my mind. I had people telling me, you can't get a job being an actor. You can't, be a theater major and expect to have a career. You got to find something, that's going to be more, more stable, more safe. Like go to school for business administration, or, go for, go to be a doctor, and I'm not going to lie to you. I ended up listening to those people. Those people did get in my head, and, I went to school for education, something completely different. And, I regretted that because throughout college, I was still doing like films, like student films with people and, shooting stuff like locally. And I was like, you know what? I made a bad decision, after I, got my degree in education, I decided to go back to school and get a degree in theater, and then I started to pursue more acting stuff, auditioning. I booked a movie in Cleveland, and then I moved to LA and just went for it, and, I have to definitely thank that experience in high school because that's what, got it started.
Right. Well, that's awesome. Sometimes you just have to tune out all the negativity to really follow what you want to do.
Absolutely.
And it's just something that just won't settle like on your soul until you actually achieve what you're really meant to do.
Absolutely. It's easy to definitely get caught up and listen to people. And that's why, like you say, you have to know what's best for you. You need to go for, your goals, go after your dreams, and a lot of times that outside noise will get to you. You got to find a way to block it out, and
Right. Okay. Which actor you look up to the most?
Man, yeah, this is an emotional question because that actor actually is no longer with us. It was the late Lee Thompson Young.
Jet Jackson.
Yeah, that was my guy, man. Like I still have these like moments where I tear up because like he really was going to be like the next, like he should have been like the Michael B. Jordan, like he was like the type of actor. And I was just inspired by that guy, watching him on Disney being the first, black face you see, you're like, wow, somebody that looks like us, and, I was really inspired by that guy. And he always seemed to do things, that were more positive. That show was like something positive. Like it taught like these everyday lessons that a lot of those Disney shows, you don't see that. And, with a black guy leading that, it was great. And he did martial arts, which inspired me to do that as well. So, he was the one actor I was hoping to meet when I moved out here. And it's unfortunate that, he committed suicide right after, like right before I moved out here. So I never even got a chance, to meet him. But I do a lot of stuff, in inspiration to him, you know what I mean? And I'm definitely going to be mentioning him a lot more. And I became an advocate of mental illness, with mental health, because of that, because I didn't know he was struggling with that until after. So.
Oh, that's awesome.
That's important.
Mm-hmm. Okay. What is your dream role?
Well, right now, we want to go back to the DC Fandom moment. I want to be Static Shock.
Okay.
I want to be Static Shock so bad, man. Like that's my favorite like superhero. Cause like it's crazy because I do the cosplays. I do go to the Comic Cons and I dress up as him most of the time, and I don't see many of those there. You'll see a lot of Miles Morales. You see a lot of those. You see a lot of these other characters. You're like, but when you get there and people see it, they're like, oh my God, Static Shock. Like people know who this guy is, and I was walking through downtown LA with the costume, and just like like people were just from young to middle age to older, like people were like, man, that's our guy, man. Static Shock's the hero, man. And I'm like, this guy is so popular. Why hasn't there been a movie yet? Like I'm just like, it's like, man, like, and what's coincidental was like I worked at a hotel in Burbank, and I was a front desk agent. I checked in the executive for DC Comics, and I was talking to the guy, and I brought up Static Shock, and he was like, he said, he's very popular, and I've been hearing people say a lot of stuff about him lately, and I said, I think it's time for us to do something about that. I think we need to push for a film And this was in like December or like November of last year.
Wow.
So it was like, okay, so I was like, man, this is coming at some point, and it was cool to see, they announced that.
Mm-hmm.
So I told him, I said, I think that's the guy you guys should push, get him out there and make a movie, and here we are. Oh, and then I also slid in my car and said, hey, you want to cast me out? I'm here. So.
While you're at it, I know the perfect guy.
I'm like, you got to get that in there while you can,
Exactly. Okay. Who would you like to work with and why?
Ooh.
Mm-hmm.
Man, it's I mean, you know what? I would love to work with Denzel Washington. I would love to work with him because, like,
okay,
I would love to play like a son or something, or just like, I don't know. Every time I watch him, I'm just like, man, that's like father figure, man, powerful guy, man. Just a stern guy, man, and again, another guy that's all about positivity, and he has his faith, and that's one guy that I just feel like you can't lose being in a movie with Denzel,
Right.
And I feel like you would learn so much, as an actor and as a man, being around him.
I think the energy, like bouncing off of his lines, would like infuse, like pretty much make you go. I think that would be really, really cool.
Absolutely, I agree with that. I think you hear these interviews, people talk about Denzel. Denzel, he's not a social media guy. You don't see him, doing a lot. You don't really see him out in like public a lot, like you see like these other ones. But like his worth, his work ethic. You know what I mean? Like he leaves his print no matter what he does, and the people that work with him will tell you, I've got a couple close friends that are in the industry now. Like for example, Niles Fitch. Niles Fitch from This Is Us. He's worked with Denzel, and these people have said so many amazing things about him, and I'm just like, I can't wait I definitely want the opportunity as well.
That would be awesome. Okay, this is my last question, and I'm gonna bounce it over to the guys.
No problem.
Okay, what is your favorite anime and why?
I knew this was coming.
It wouldn't be NerdFlow if you didn't know.
You know what? I'm not even gonna lie. You know what? Damn, this is a tough one. You know what? I had to go to Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse because it's just the impact that it made. It just, the fact that I watched it like 10, 15 times, I think I definitely have to put that one number one. It just, it shattered records. It was just, that was the one costume that another one that I put on like a lot, and people are like, that's your slip, man. I'm like, hey, I'll go for that role too, because out there I'll do it.
They're pushing everything right now.
Yeah, I mean, this is a good time right now. Things are coming back. With COVID thing, people are, getting their production ready to go.
Right. And I think a lot of this is also from like the Black Lives Matter movement, and they're pushing more more black actors, more actors of color, and that's what's really bringing all of this together. Like they're finally listening, and they're finally like, okay, maybe we do need to cast more people of color. You can see it like on the TV shows. You can see it now in the movies. It's more of us finally coming to realization like we matter too.
Absolutely. And it's crazy that it took us to do all this just to to get to this point. So, I say something's better than nothing. I think we're in a time now where everybody seems to be coming together, of all cultures and backgrounds. And, it was clearly, when I saw, I could look out the window and see the protest, out my window, and I can see just groups of people, just different people just walking together and holding hands. And, So I definitely see some positive things happening, and we use the hashtag a lot, promote Black actors, because we're trying to, like you said, get that out there, and of course not just Black actors, of course you want to see definitely more Hispanic, more Asian,
exactly.
You want to see everything, and
right.
I think this is the time to push to see everything,
Right. I 100% agree. Okay, guys, I'm done.
All right. Darren, I gotta say, man, like, I remember when I was looking through IMDb for Spike, because it was just rumors about Miles and possibly being in the movie. And I think I was the one that brought it up on the show, and I saw your picture. I'm like, oh no, this dude has to be Miles. Like, he doesn't have there's no name of who he's playing. This guy has to be Miles. And I was like, and I remember Tink told me, he was like, she had reached out, and I was like, oh, for real? And so, and then when you said you told her that your partner, I was like, oh, dang. I was like, because I'm like, I was just looking at you like, dude, you are like if you look at Spider-Verse and look at yourself, it's like, come on, this dude's Miles, man.
It's funny. My sister always makes fun of me. She's like, she'll turn it on. She says, I'm watching my brother again. It is crazy. You look at the exact image of him, you're like, wow, like, it's great to see that. You're just like, it's great to see somebody that looks like us, you know what I mean? And, and it's really amazing to see how well it did with that diverse audience, you know what I mean? It was so popular across the board, I remember, when I went to the, LA Comic-Con, there were people from like Germany coming up to me. They're like, this is our favorite character. We love him, and it was like taking pictures and stuff, and like, like the guy is loved, man. And honestly, I can't wait till the second one, comes out.
Right.
And then obviously we gotta get that live action one too. So.
Oh yes, most definitely. It's so many rumors swirling around about Toby coming back and them reaching out to Andrew Garfield. So it's just a matter of time, and once COVID comes down, it's just a matter of time so we can start hearing some news and they can start shooting. Speaking of COVID though, so from your perspective as an actor, how has that affected like workloads and auditions and stuff like that? Like, what type of precautions have they been taking with you guys?
So it has. I took a small break because I ended up, like I said, I went back to school to get more experience in theater. Right now I'm attending Los Angeles City College. They have a theater academy there, and I never really got that base training from theater. So I said, before I get back out there and do any more auditions, let me get the full training. So now I'm at a program where I'm taking voice classes, movement, acting classes, and stage production and all the shop classes. And pretty much right now, I mean, there's not much going on. I did do like an audition for like a skincare campaign, and really the last audition that I did, it's been a while, honestly, was because I like I said, I took a break. I went out for Power Rangers Beast Morphers. Nickelodeon series, and what was cool about that was they actually cast the Red Ranger was the African American guy, so that was kind of cool. That was a cool experience. It was like an international call. I did that from home, and I haven't really written out for anything besides that. 'Cause like I said, I want to get through this program first before I get back out there. And for me right now, I'm just focused on just acting training, staying sharp, trying to stay healthy, work on my instrument, as actors would say, work on your body, your mind, and, just try to get better. Like, even though we're stuck at home, you want to continue to work on your skills,
Right.
And don't get lazy. Just keep getting better. Do monologues. If there's any auditions there, do them, practice with your speech, look in the mirror, do stuff. I do stuff in the mirror, have monologues I read, and I just keep reading, keep getting better.
Good stuff. Young, you got anything, man?
Well, first off, I just want to, say prayers up for y'all out there in California. I know y'all dealing with the wildfires and stuff out there, and all of that. So just hoping everybody's safe out that way.
I appreciate it. Thank you.
And also, like, I got a connection with you because I got a lot of family that lives in Cleveland, been there since the 60s.
Oh,
like,
wow.
Yeah, like East Cleveland, Euclid, that area like that.
Yeah.
So,
that's crazy. So wait, do you know like the schools out there, like Upson Elementary, like all the schools in the area, like Euclid High?
I'm not gonna even lie to you, I really don't. I got little cousins that go play football out there and stuff like that. I don't actually know what schools they go to, because like my grandfather, like I used to go up there sometimes, like during the Christmas holiday, which was like tragic during that time of year. But yeah, so I really don't know. But growing up in Cleveland, like how does that contribute to your acting?
Well, the thing is, I come from a family actually that a lot of them are artists, inspiring artists. And my sister's, she's a musician. My dad's a screenwriter. And I have a few family members that are into music. And Cleveland is known for we have Steve Harvey, Halle Berry. We have some stars that have come out of Cleveland. And I think I have a special like place in my heart always for Cleveland because I always rep Cleveland. Like when I come out here, I always tell people like, look, Cleveland's my city. That's what I'm always gonna rep them. And I'm always doing this for Ohio, so I think that means a lot, coming from there, a hard grind, city like that,
Yeah.
My parents actually, we moved out of Cleveland, to like my parents live in like this city called Painesville. I don't know if you know, where that is, but it's like pretty much like it's northeast, like near Menor, like Ashtabula, so right off the lake. Like
yeah.
Area. So
I know what you're talking about, that area up there. I think my granddad used to go up that way to fish on the lake, if I'm not mistaken.
He's probably at Painesville, Fairport, like probably Fairport Harbor out there.
Yeah.
Because I used to work at a bait shop out there in Fairport, and
okay.
It was great. It was like people come in there, they're like, damn, we ain't never seen a black guy working at a bait shop.
Well, that's all you see down south.
Yeah, I was gonna say, yeah, exactly. It was like you go down south, it's completely different.
Right.
So, and that's why, like, I have so much respect for Southern folks, and I have family in like Atlanta, those areas as well, and I'll never forget where I come from. You know what I mean? No matter where I go from here, I always remember like where I came from and who brought me up, and Cleveland has a big part of, any success that I'm going to have or have had, you know what I mean? So.
Right. I feel you on that.
So moving to LA didn't bother you any?
No, it didn't because, I moved here first, so I can't blame him. I moved here before he did. So like, I get it, man. When you come out here, it's a different ball game. You come to LA, it's, people make jokes when you come out here. They say, well, people move to LA for the 3 W's. I'm like, what is that? They go, women, weather, and weed. I'm like, oh, okay, all right. I'm like, well, I just came out here to be an actor. I mean, that's
right.
But after you stay out here, you get it. You start to see what it's like to live out here, how expensive it is, the lifestyle, the weather. I mean, I look out my window, I can see the Hollywood sign from here. I can see the mountains, I can look around, I can go on the rooftop and see the whole city, do a complete 360, see everything. Wow. And it's great. And it's great seeing LeBron out here. LeBron has done so much for the city of Cleveland, for Ohio. Like, no one can say anything bad about that man. I don't know if people are even still talking bad about that guy. I mean, he's an example of what, a father should be, an athlete. The guy's an ambassador. He's pushing for justice, constantly for Breonna Taylor. I mean, the guy's doing so much that you really don't see a lot of athletes that big doing what he's doing, So LeBron is another guy, that I say is, a big inspiration, and,
That's awesome. That's awesome.
Somebody you want to be like.
Okay, well, my next question is a two-parter. So being from Cleveland, it's like I said, it's a two-parter. Are you a Browns fan, and are you a Bone Thugs and Harmony fan? Because I'm definitely a Bone fan since I was a kid, but not.
Okay, so this was gonna mess you up when you hear this, and I don't know if I might not have told any of you guys this yet, but I'm gonna answer the first one. I'm definitely a Browns fan. I'm a hardcore Browns fan. I love the Browns as bad as they've been, for all these years. I love them. I always watch them, and I still have all this gear out here. I walk around with a Browns hat. People don't bother me. They go, in LA, you there's certain hats you can't wear, with colors and logos. Like, you gotta be careful. You can get you can get messed up. But like with the Browns hats, like, people just look at me like, oh, okay, whatever.
It's cool. Let him make it.
They're like, he's suffering enough. We're not gonna mess with him. But I love the Browns so much, man. I look forward to this season. Like, every year I look forward to them. Even if they have a 0-16 season, I still look forward to them. And as far as Bone Thugs, my uncle is actually Wishbone.
Shut up. Shut up.
Yes. My auntie, Patricia, like, I'm actually going to put together like a little story, like documentary. I'm going to interview my auntie Patricia. And, I didn't know this for so long. And my auntie had told me that. And I was like, that's crazy, because like, we've never been around him. He had like, they have kids that, went to school out there in Northeast Ohio. You know what I mean? And, they've come out here to Riverside. Like, I went to a guy's studio. They were just at a studio in Riverside recording music, and I mean, they're all over, and people in LA, they love some Bone Thugs. Like,
Yeah.
Well, they was out there for a minute when they was signed to Ruthless, working with Easy. So, you know what I'm saying? I'm pretty sure they left an imprint out there.
Oh my God, man. Yeah. It's like, when you watch Straight Outta Compton, that's the thing. A lot of people don't realize that, like, those guys, like, Easy E, he put those guys on, like, they were really close, and that should be another story right there that could be told about, if they do like another, like, version of that or whatever, and do like a documentary or something like that on them, but the people here in LA, man, I mean, that's one thing that they'll always bring up, like, especially music from like early 2000s, like 90s music, like, they'll always bring those people up, they say, those are the heart and soul, of the music out here, and they don't mention, Snoop Dogg. They don't mention those guys without mentioning Bone Thugs. You know what I mean? And
right.
That's great to know that, Cleveland, you can arguably say that's the best group to ever come out of there. You know what I mean?
Oh, most definitely.
Most definitely.
I mean, as far as music go, I mean, the only thing I think, like, as far as I know, the other person that musically they can hang that, Ohio can hang the hat on is Bow Wow, and I don't think too many people willing to claim that.
Yeah,
they got Trippie Redd from Cleveland.
Yeah, we got Kid Cudi. We got a couple.
Cudi, yeah.
Hey, Machine Gun Kelly. He doing all movies right now. So he doing his thing.
He was in Project Power recently.
Yeah, I just watched. Yeah, I just watched that. That was actually a good movie. I liked it.
Yeah, that was really good.
Yeah, that was a dope movie.
And yeah, with Bow Wow.
Darren also has a movie on there. Sprinter.
Sprinter. Oh yeah. Sprinter. That's Netflix. That was another film that I got through a casting. It was basically they were looking for people who actually run, and I ran track throughout high school and college, and they're like, would you be okay with being a runner from the UK Olympic team? I said, yeah, I don't care what country it's from. I'll do it, And when I got on the set, it was, they filmed that at UCLA. It was the UCLA's track. And, I just look around and I see this Jamaican dude with, these long braids, and I was like, man, this was like a legit, like, track film, and then I see him get in the starting blocks and take off. And I'm like, this dude is fast as hell, and, I get there and, this is a film that, Will Smith, was executive producer on, and, there was a lot of people that helped with this film, and it was great. It was a great story. It wasn't your stereotypical Jamaican film. It was actually a good story. You know what I mean? And, it was awesome to get on that set and do that because a lot of people weren't, volunteering to really be in the moment and be in those scenes and do that stuff, and the fact that I got to, hang a lot of especially a lot of Islanders, you know what I mean, and be on the set with those people. It was a good experience for me, and I'll never forget the experience of working on the Sprinter set. You guys can definitely check it out. It's on Netflix.
Most definitely I'll do that. Sid, you got any questions you need to ask?
Before we jump into DC Fandom?
Yeah. Do you have a favorite genre?
Honestly, I'm really into like horror, horror films a lot. I think because that's where it all started for me. I used to be scared a lot when I was a kid. I was one of those kids that would wake up screaming in the middle of the night. My dad would come up there, like, "You okay?" I would watch. I remember watching Poltergeist.
Oh man!
And I used to be scared of clowns. Yeah, I used to be scared of clowns because of that movie.
Yeah, that'll do it. That Poltergeist will definitely do it.
Either Poltergeist or it was it.
Every time I think of him, every time I think of him looking under that bed, I used to do that. I used to look under the bed and make sure the damn clown wasn't under the bed. And I was scared, man. And I was. It took me a while to get over it. I had a weird thing. Like anytime I would have a nightmare, I feel like I could get out of it. I would for some reason I would get angry in the dream and just turn around and be like, come on, you can't do anything to me. I would swing at whatever was coming at me, and then the dream would end. But then when the dream ended, whatever it was would tickle me under my underarm.
Oh wow!
And I was. No, this is...
That would scare you. That would make you jump.
I would wake up screaming. I would wake up yelling bloody murder. My mom would come upstairs she's like, what is wrong with you? You are just traumatized. And it would always be
circuses.
Yeah, it would always happen to watch a scary movie. And, it's
that movie really did give a bad reputation for clowns. If you were going into that profession, it is over for you.
Yeah.
Yo.
That's pretty much like Child's Play. Child's Play eliminated a whole toy line. So
Buddy dog gone.
Yo, yeah, that Child's Play, man. Yeah, that movie was. and you think, it's a little Child's Play. It's like a little doll. You think you can kick it and get rid of it. But you can't. That damn thing will just keep coming after you.
That thing had strength.
Why? How the hell? There's nothing you can do, man. You're done.
So would you star in a horror movie, in more horror, if you can?
Yeah, I definitely would now. See, right now we're actually so the writer of the film, William Davis, he's working on the feature film for Look Twice right now. He's been working on that. He's a producer and writer. He's been working on that since we got it into festivals, a short film. And I'm going to send you guys a link to it so you guys can look at the short film or look twice.
Cool. Yeah, I was looking for it earlier. We're lucky. We're very fortunate. He should be actually listening in on this podcast. We were actually very fortunate to get an actor named Troy James to come on to that project.
Oh man.
I don't know if you guys are familiar with him, but he's known as Twisty Troy. He's a guy he's a contortionist that can move his body.
Yeah, I know who you're talking about.
Yeah. That'll give you nightmares alone. Like being on the set with that guy.
Was he? I'm trying to think. He played.
Is that the guy that's in Project Power also?
Or is he the one that played Ragdoll in Flash?
He was Ragdoll in Flash.
I know exactly what you're talking about. Yeah.
Played in Hellboy too, according to this.
Oh wow!
Boy, his appearances on Flash, man. Oh, if you.
Yeah.
God.
You guys you should watch. He's in Scary Movies that tell in the dark. He plays a jangly man at the end of the movie.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean that was to me that was the best part. Just watching how he moves, man. Like that stuff's scary. If you go to his Instagram, man, you see him put on like a big giant spider suit and he walks around like that scares people, man. You don't see that every day. And you go to American. You can see him on America's Got Talent, doing that stuff, and
that's where I first saw him at.
Yeah, like he's and he said he'd definitely come back to do the feature. We're very excited to get that feature, get everybody back, and push for that. And the goal is to get that picked up. That's what we're going for now. We're in the film festival circuit right now. The movies continue to be screened. Like even though we have the COVID thing, a lot of them are showing online. Mm-hmm. We've had it in Brazil a few times. It's going to be in Vancouver, I think August 29th. And then I think September is going to be in like Arizona, then Sweden, Colorado, Indiana, Philadelphia. We had it in Texas early on. I think we won an award for it. It was in Texas, like very early on. I think it was World Fest Houston. I think that's what it was called, World Fest Houston. It's like a big festival. So, yeah, that's pretty much what I wouldn't mind working on a horror film, being cast in a horror film.
Okay.
That's what's up.
Yeah.
That's what's up.
I got one question.
Okay, what you got? Dope.
So you practice martial arts, yes?
Yes, sir.
So would you say you were cast as like the next superhero, Spider-Man or Static Shock? Would you do your own stunts?
Ooh, you know what? It depends on like what they would have me do. Like for me, there was a point in time where I thought I wanted to be a stunt man, and then like when I saw what they were doing on the set, I was like, nah.
I'm good.
I was like, I much respect to those guys because they do a lot, man. They deserve to get paid what they get paid because they put in a lot of work. They put their body on the lines, and I can do your basic kick, punch, roll, flips, I can do that stuff, but like constantly taking beatings and jumping over stuff, and it is a lot to it, but if they let me do like a little bit of stuff like that, that'd be pretty cool. Like for example, like Lee Thompson Young, when he was in Rizzoli and Isles on TNT, like I thought he was doing his own stunts because he can do capoeira, he practiced that stuff, and they actually had his own stunt double do that. A lot of times they do that to protect the actor, and
right.
They had a video on YouTube of the guy that looks pretty similar to Lee, doing stuff. And then Lee Thompson Young did a little example of, a couple kicks and stuff. And, the guy was very talented, but even he didn't do too much. Like he did like certain things, like he would kick like the doors open, as a detective, he kicked the doors open, like, freeze, police, like he would do stuff like that. And he did do I did see Lee a few times, like put a guy in like a chokehold and like block some hits, some punches and grapple a few times. So I wouldn't mind doing that type of stuff, as long as it's not like extreme stuff,
Yeah, you ain't trying to jump off no building or nothing.
Yeah,
no.
They definitely deserve to get paid what they get paid.
They do. That's scary stuff, man. Those guys that are stunt doubles, the drivers, like the motorists, like those, remember the stunt double from the Deadpool movie? Remember she died,
Yeah, that's
Right.
like doing that, that's some serious stuff. Like I tell people, like that's some serious stuff. Like you really got to be all in and willing to do that stuff, and they risk their lives, to make everybody else look good. That's so.
True that. All right,
I had
man.
one more. I forgot to
Okay,
mention.
what you think?
Yeah. What? Darren, tell everybody your connection with Kobe. And happy birthday, Kobe.
Yes, definitely. This is what makes it even more special that you decided to do this on Kobe's birthday. Like that's an honor in itself, and it's crazy because I look back at this year, how fast it went. The very thing, I went to Cleveland. I went back home for Christmas to see my family. And then I remember coming back in early January. And the very first event that I went to was a screening for the movie Just Mercy, starring Michael B. Jordan. And I went, and Kobe Bryant actually was the host of the event at the Baldwin Hills Crenshaw Plaza Theater. And basically it was a free event, and Kobe Bryant basically went to each auditorium and spoke to each of us about the film and what inspired him to see the movie. And I remember like they did the introduction to like, 5-time champion, MVP, like Oscar winner, Kobe Bryant. And this was January 6th of this year. And it is crazy because I feel like this just happened yesterday. Like I feel like I just saw him. And I remember he came through, he had his Mamba gray hoodie on and he spoke to us. We took video and pictures up front. And I had my manager was with me at the time. She was actually, she had influenza. We didn't know that at the time, but she had influenza. And I remember she was terrible. Like, I didn't want her to go. Like, I picked her up. I was like, you shouldn't go. You look really bad. She's like, no, I need to go. Kobe's going to be there. Well, I'm glad that we did go because we would have never gotten a chance to see him again, and I remember like it was yesterday, just posting that video up on him, and when he died a few weeks later, it was like one of those moments when you look back and you just remember that moment. And you're like, anything can happen, in a blink of an eye, and I didn't believe it. I got the phone call from my manager Cecilia. She called me crying, and she's like, "You'll never guess who just died. We just saw him." And I was thinking about, because I saw a lot of people there. We saw Michael B. Jordan was there, Kobe, O'Shea Jackson, Brie Larson. There were so many people there, and she said Kobe. I couldn't believe it. I couldn't believe it, and what's crazy was I always, as Cavs fans, as Clevelanders, in a way, we have Kobe to thank for even that championship because Kyrie reached out to Kobe for for some tips on some moves and stuff that he did in the finals, and there was a story that Kobe shared that Kyrie called Kobe right in the locker room after they were celebrating that Game 7 win. And he was like, "Man, you were right, man. You were right. It worked." And it's crazy. Like Kobe lent his hand into helping, Cleveland win a championship in a way. It was crazy, like how he's connected to everything, Yeah. It seemed like everything went downhill once he passed. And honestly, that's what it felt like.
Exactly.
Yeah, that was the first tragedy of 2020.
Yeah.
One more question. What's your favorite Kobe Bryant commercial? Mine's changed over the years, but just one stands out for me.
I was laughing because, I'm a big fan of Jalen Rose, I met Jalen. I worked at the JW Marriott in LA Live downtown, and Jalen Rose always comes there. A good dude, comes and checks in the hotel. Real good dude, man. I remember I told him, I said, "Go Buckeyes." I always do that to make fun of him. He goes, I always want him to say the Ohio State fuck guys, because that's what he said in the at 5 nights. So like, but he wouldn't say it.
Boy.
Yeah, exactly. He's a Michigan boy. He wouldn't say it. He was like, you know what, man? He says, I had a homeboy who went to Ohio State, man. You know what? I respect the Buckeyes. I love the Buckeyes, you know. And like, I'm like, dude, Jalen Rose is a cool dude, man. Probably one of the most humble people. And every time I see him, I think of that commercial of, you know, him and Kobe Bryant.
Yeah, that's my favorite.
Yeah. And I'm just like, I love Jalen because he's so humble about it. You know what I mean? He's like, he makes jokes about it. Like, you know, he's not like a sore loser about it. Like, he's just a cool dude, you know. And Kobe and Jalen gave Kobe his props when he was here, you know.
Right.
You know, that's one thing I respect and love about Jalen Rose. And they had a relationship, you know. And you know, that's probably definitely Jalen Rose actually just posted on his Instagram the little statue like of Kobe like shooting over him and like that had me laughing so bad like but that's definitely my favorite commercial of Kobe.
Yeah, cause it's like I became like honestly I was a real Tracy McGrady fan after Jordan. And just to see Kobe and Tracy go up against each other. So I was like, yo, like, I'm rolling with Tracy. And so I just was like downplaying Kobe or whatnot. But then as Kobe really started to show his personality more and more, it was just like, yo, this is somebody I could hang out with.
Right.
And you know, it was just like my two favorite commercials was the one when Kobe was talking and Kanye was in the crowd. But, you know, that Jalen Rose and Kobe commercial, because Jalen Rose said that actually happened and they just made a commercial about it. So I was just like, yeah, that seems like that's a Kobe Bryant type, like something that happened just to throw 81 olives in there when you talking to Jalen.
Right.
Like that was just like anybody else. Like that's how you know Jalen humble. Anybody else probably would have tried to swing off on Kobe.
Right. Yeah. Like it must not feel good to be like you people, you know, constantly. Hey man, you only held Kobe to 81 points. You know, like he hears that every. You know, and you know what's crazy? Like you talk about Tracy McGrady, you know, working at the hotel. I actually checked in Tracy the night before he had that sit-down interview with Kobe. You know, he was there for that Kobe interview, and Tracy McGrady, another guy, you know, another guy who was humble, that talks to you like working at that hotel. Like I got to meet so many like NBA players, you know, so many like sports figures, and it's cool because honestly, majority of them that I've met have been so like humble, like they've talked to you and like they're okay with taking pictures and, you know, and Tracy McGrady was one of those guys that were just cool dude, you know, and I remember I met Chauncey Billups came in there, another guy that was, you know, I told him, I said, hey man, I didn't appreciate you, you know, beating on my Cavs all those years, you know, I'm glad we finally got you, you know, and you know, they all laugh about it, man. At the end of the day, it's sports, you know, they all have families to go to, and, you know, they have normal lives too, just like we do, you know. And,
right.
You know, and same with Kobe. Kobe was just a human being, just like we all were, you know, just, you know, a guy who spent time with his family, that enjoyed, you know, spending time with his kids and wife and, you know, writing children's books. You know, the guy had so much more that he had planned that, you know, that he was going to do. And, you know, I'm sure Vanessa's going to, you know, help push that and, you know, keep that legacy alive, you know, and he deserves it because he left us with something so powerful that no matter what, each generation is going to be looking back at that and say, you know what, that was the guy, you know what I mean? We're going to mimic our game and our life after this guy.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
All right, man. Let's see. So DC Fandom, we're going to get into DC Fandom. Darren, feel free to chime in wherever you feel you want to chime in at. So DC Fandom happened on yesterday. And man, the DC bring it yesterday when it came to DC Fandom. I'm kind of imagining what it. Yeah, I know. I'm kind of imagining what it would have been like if it wasn't no COVID-19. That's what I feel like. So to kick it off, man, not really going in any particular order. We got a revision of the Wonder Woman 84 trailer. This is primarily the same trailer they came out with maybe 2 weeks ago. But this time we actually finally got a glimpse of Cheetah in the trailer. And so
Okay, Barbara.
Say it again, Bro.
I was talking about how Barbara came in.
Oh yeah. So yeah, we got a glimpse of Cheetah. Overall, man, I mean, the director Patty, she's done a very good job with this with Wonder Woman, and I hate that if they ever do, I think from what I've been hearing, I think she's supposed to be on for when they do a third, but I would hate to see her go if they do anything aside from a trilogy. What did everybody else think about the Wonder Woman trailer?
I enjoyed it.
The color contrast, it like mimics like the existence of the 80s. It's like the color of the scenes, the clothes, like the very essence. I'm ready for this movie.
Like what threw me off is just like the beginning of the trailer. Like they really got her swinging off lightning. Like seriously,
daughter of Zeus.
Yeah.
So question, this is what I was wondering in the scene that's actually showing right now that we're looking at. With her in the plane, is that supposed to be an invisible plane? I know it's supposed to be in the movie.
I was wondering the same thing.
I don't think so
because she said something about radar, and I was like, huh?
Yeah, I think they just got in a regular jet because that guy, her love interest from the first movie was a pilot. So I really think that they just hopped the plane. I don't think they brought I think eventually they may bring in the invisible jet, like he may teach her how to fly a jet or something.
Yeah.
But I don't think that's in this movie, or it may be towards the end of the movie.
Yeah. What do y'all think about the I know on Twitter, I know a lot of people kind of memeing the cheetah versus cats. And I'm saying to myself, man, I'm sorry, man. Cheetah look way better than cats. I'm sorry, but
exactly.
Yeah, I agree. I take the cheetah over the cat.
I mean, Jason Derulo's recently said that's not one of his best moments.
Oh man, I bet.
I like the casting they did for Cheetah though.
I do too. Because I think like comedians tend to be like the best pick for like villains, because especially somebody that's all they do is like comedy movies, and so with them being a villain, they get to show a lot more range that way, and they tend to come out to be the best villain. I think Rich Girl's gonna do a very, very good job.
I.e. Jim Carrey.
Yeah, exactly. Riddler.
Mm-hmm.
And Dr. Robotnik.
Yeah, we're not gonna credit Jamie Foxx with his.
He did it. I mean, Jamie did his thing. I mean, we didn't like I know a lot of us didn't like the look of Shocker and stuff like that. But
I don't think he was. I think he was Electro. He wasn't Shocker.
Well, see, that's why I always get confused too, because Spider-Man got two villains that both control it that has electric powers.
Right.
Let's see.
Who's that playing Cheetah? That's Christian.
Kristen Wiig.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Kristen Wiig. She's so funny though on Saturday Night Live and Despicable Me series. She's also the actress on there as well.
Mm-hmm.
I like her. I think that's a good pick. I think
she played in some dramatic comedies as well. The names escape me, but she did okay in those as well.
Yeah,
she wasn't as funny.
Bridesmaids.
Bridesmaids was she probably.
That was funny as well.
Also like I think Zoolander stuck in my head. With her.
Oh, was she in Zoolander?
Yeah, she was in Zoolander.
Okay. Yeah.
And also the female Ghostbuster, but
I know some people kind of feel a particular way about the female Ghostbuster movie.
People got on that movie. I thought it was pretty good. I didn't have a problem with that movie.
It wasn't as bad as I thought it. Like, I had never seen it until I was just like stuck in bed. But like you had limited. Like, I was at a hospital, so you had limited movies you could watch on the TV. So I finally watched it, and I was just like, oh, this not that bad. You know, even though you got, I just tend to call him Thor, but
Chris Hemsworth.
Yeah, Chris Hemsworth playing the ultimate dummy, but yeah, it was a pretty decent. I like it. If I had to rate it, I'd give it like a 7, 6.5, 7. Yeah, it's really not that bad.
That's not a good rating, though.
Exactly.
I do want to know the like what direction they're going with the Cheetah backstory, like how she got genetically modified.
There's a stone and there's like a wish that she makes. What's his name? Last name Perez. He's Mandalorian, and you probably don't recognize him because he's like, I can't think of the name of the character he's playing in the movie, but the guy with he looks like a white guy with the blonde hair. That's him. I think his name. I think is it Victor Perez? I think. I can't remember. The name escapes me a little bit. But yeah, no, it's basically based off of like that's kind of how, from what I've been hearing, that's kind of how Wonder Woman's her boyfriend comes back, because she makes a wish too, and so so she makes a wish to bring him back, and so that's kind of like what I've kind of heard a little bit about as far as from a plot perspective, is like, and also kind of goes into, I think, like with the stone that she makes the wish with, while she has on the gold suit, it's a suit of armor that's made by the what's the name of her, where she's from?
The Amazonians.
Yeah, it's a suit that's made back, because evidently I think the caveat to her wishing him back is she doesn't have full power, so she has to fight Cheetah with this armor on to protect herself.
Wow.
So we will see. It looks good though. Like I said, it was one thing when the first Wonder Woman was like the saving grace of the DCEU, when we were some of us was kind of losing hope. So,
Want to save everything.
All right, and then we got we're gonna bounce around from games to movies, because that's kind of like what it mostly consisted of. We had the trailer for Gotham Knights from WB Games. A gist of what the game is: it's supposed to be a co-op RPG with character leveling. The demo we got was Batgirl traveling through the city. So look, it looks like it's going to be open world, and she's on a motorcycle. And I think they finally listened to us when it came to, I know a friend of mine, we were talking about this yesterday when the trailer came out, because the problem with Arkham Knight was people were saying like, I want to drive in the Batmobile. Well, they gave us like a ton of missions in Arkham Knight with just the Batmobile, puzzles with the Batmobile. So I think this time they kind of listened, like, we just want to be in it to get to one mission to the next mission. So just for it to give that feel of like, you know, the Batman world or a Bat family, or just being in Gotham in general.
This looks fun though. I wouldn't mind playing that.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Especially with the because we got the Avengers beta going on, the open beta going on this weekend. So with a lot of the superhero games getting kind of like the full treatment, and I know a lot of people are trying to compare this game, like, oh, this looks way better than Avengers, but Avengers is kind of a from a gamer's perspective, it's a hub based type game where you do mission, you go back to a hub. Whereas with Gotham Knight, it looks like it's just particularly just straight open world. You just go from one mission to the next throughout the city. So, my gamers, what y'all think about this?
I'm excited.
Yeah, I can't wait. 2021 though, jeez.
Yeah, that's what I know. I was hoping it was going to be this fall. I really did.
I think it may be the first game I buy with my PlayStation 5. So.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, this is I mean, of course, it's in that same vein as the Arkham series. Of course, we know that.
They say it's not in the same world though. I found that out today. They say it's not in the same world. The rumor is that that Batman might be dead in this world.
Well, yeah,
but at the end of the last Arkham game, he died.
In the trailer, he was like, "Well, if you're watching this, I'm dead," and assembled or whatever. So they.
Yeah, in the last Arkham, what was it called? Arkham Knight.
Yeah, I think it was Arkham Knight. Yeah.
Yeah, he blew up the Batcave, and he blew up and he walked in the mansion and everything blew up. So like that's why I felt like it was part of the Arkham series because it continued from where the Arkham series ended.
Yeah.
So, and then for the switch from Arkham Knight to Knights, a Gotham, it only makes sense.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, this game look raw though. See, I gotta get a PlayStation 5. I'm still stuck on PS4 right now.
Well, it won't come out till this fall, so you got a little bit of time.
Yeah, most definitely. And then you got I know they showing we're showing watching here. They do it's co-op as well, so like you get to team up on boss fights. I know they were mentioning in the trailer as well. They were talking about like as far as leveling difference from like the boss versus your character that you're building up and everything. So looks like it's gonna be pretty good though, man. I'm pretty happy about it. Like I said, I think I said this before we had started recording. Like I really want to play with the Red Hood. It's one of my favorites.
Yeah, no, this looks good. I mean,
Looks really good.
I don't know how they're gonna change it from the Arkham series as far as, I know it's gonna be open world. The fight system looks pretty similar.
Mm-hmm.
What we're looking at here, it doesn't look like the enemies are rushing as much. So she's not doing a lot of countering, but this is a pre-alpha.
Yeah. I mean, Arkham Knight was open world because you could choose what you wanted to do. It wasn't a set script to the game. It was open world. But as far as this goes, it looks like it's even more open world.
Mm-hmm.
And it just looked damn good.
Yeah. Rumor has it that the villain for this, or I guess you could really say it's a group, the Court of Owls is really at the main of everything that's going on. So we'll see, because this has been the game that they've been hinting about. There's a Batman game that was related to the Court of Owls. So we'll see. Black Adam teaser. I was not expecting Black Adam teaser. I know, man, we've been listening to Dwayne talk about Black Adam for I don't know how many years now. We just like wondering. First we got the Shazam. We was like, man, are we gonna ever get the Black Adam movie? So we finally get a teaser, and it kind of just explains like the origin of the character. Kind of gives a little background on it, because I'm pretty sure a lot of people probably may not know who the character is, and a lot of people probably be surprised eventually that he's the arch enemy of Shazam. So
wow. So is he pretty much like the Venom of like Shazam? Because I'm really not too familiar with Black Adam.
From a Spider-Man perspective, yeah, you could say that. He's the Joker to his Batman.
Gotcha. Yeah. So he's a bad guy?
Yeah, he's a bad guy. Yeah. Because you remember, so DC was on the run before before we got like Snyder Cut to kick off and stuff like that. They were with Joker when it came out. DC was kind of, from what they were kind of like previewing, they were kind of more into let's do movies about villains and stop focusing so much on the heroes. So this is kind of a movie that kind of like stayed on the schedule. It's just we just didn't know when we were going to get it or anything. So because Birds of Prey. Most of those characters in there are villains as well. So it's like this is just like because everybody can pretty much agree that are like DC fans. DC kind of has the better villains. I would say.
Yeah.
I agree. They definitely do.
So I mean, and then with The Rock playing Black Adam, that's just gonna take it to a whole nother level.
Yeah.
Has The Rock ever played a villain? I don't think so.
The Scorpion King.
Oh
yeah. There we go.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
I forgot about that. Yeah, he did.
Mm-hmm.
No, it's crazy because I still didn't see him as a villain.
Right.
Because eventually they end up changing him from being the villain when they start telling the Scorpion King story.
Yeah.
He becomes the good guy. But in the Mummy version, he's the bad guy. But when they go straight to doing Scorpion King movies, he's the good guy.
Mm-hmm.
I still remember the line in the movie. He's like, I come for the woman. And you're.
Yeah.
And that's kind of how this Black Adam trailer is. It's kind of like depicting him as like how he explains it. I mean, because the saying is, every villain is the hero in his own story. So with this in particular, he's like he's just a hero in this story. But as you saw, I think they even show like a screenshot of the original Shazam that he was going against. So there's a history already.
That was
there.
Solomon.
So yeah, Solomon. Yeah.
Because like all of this, as the original story is, even like Shazam powers came from Solomon, and this is all during this time because even you see the three men that's trying to kill him, you can see that they're Masons. So like all that they tying all that in together.
Yeah, okay. Yeah. I think it's depending on, can't wait to see. I don't know if they've ever picked a director for it yet. Not that I've heard or know of, but I'm wondering who it'll be as far as director for the movie. And, Rock just going to take it to that next level with it. So,
aren't we getting the Shazam movie before this?
You say what? We had the Shazam movie before this, and I guess they're just trying to tell the separate story of the characters. Because maybe I'm just speculating, but maybe just because these characters are not they're not Batman, they're not Superman, they're not super well known. So, this trailer kind of gave a little, kind of backstory, kind of to get an idea of who and what the character is for people who may not know. And, because, once you know more about the character, you kind of when you watch it, you kind of care a lot more when you know what their intentions and stuff are. So, let's see, Suicide Squad. So we got not really a trailer, but more like a behind the scenes featurette type of thing. Because we've seen the list of 10,000 actors for Suicide Squad, and we didn't get any type of indication from James Gunn about okay, who's this playing? Who's John Cena playing? Who's Idris Elba playing? So it's there was a lot of speculation of who's playing who and all this stuff. So we finally got that, and they kind of show screenshots of their comic book characters, who they're based off of. So I'll do the rundown of the names that'll be in the movie. So we got Margot Robbie, which of course we know she's playing Harley Quinn. Jay Courtney, Captain Boomerang, which he returns. Him and Harley Quinn and Rick Flag are the only surviving members from the original Suicide Squad movie. We got Viola Davis as Amanda Waller, my bad.
Waller.
Yeah. My bad, yeah. You got John Cena is playing Peacemaker. Pete Davidson as Black Guard. I know a lot of people were kind of Pete Davidson playing in a superhero movie because he's always used to being, in the funny stuff. Michael Rooker as Savant. Sean Gunn as Weasel. Idris Elba as Bloodsport. We got Peter Capaldi as the Thinker. That kind of threw me for a loop. I'm man, they got the Thinker in this movie. David Dash Malachan, I'm just gonna butcher the hell out of the name. As Polka Dot Man. Daniela as I can't say her last name, Melchor as Ratchet 2. You got Fulia Borg as Javelin, Nathan Fillion as TDK, which stands for the Detachable Kid. Mei Ling Ing as Mongol, and Elise Braga as Sosora. So those are all.
It was Joel. It was Joel Kinnaman as Rick Flag.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, we got him. He's from. For a lot of people, recognize him from Altered Carbon. One of my favorite shows.
I was gonna say that. Wasn't he only? Was he only in the first season or something like that? After that, he switched the guy. Yeah, switched the roles. That's a good series.
Yeah, very good series. Very, very good series. So what are y'all thinking about? I know Young was because it's and then the villain, I think, what's the name?
They got D-list villains. So yeah, I honestly feel it's so convoluted. It's just it's you throwing everything into the pot and just see what's gonna stick to the wall once you throw the pot at the wall. So I'm just I just feel like a lot of movies that have so many people in them, so many people, trying to fulfill one thing, don't tend to work out. like I hope it works out, but just given the track, like Suicide
with James Gunn.
I mean, James Gunn do for a flop.
Really?
He do for one.
Guardians of the Galaxy was maybe like the best that we never knew was gonna be the best. Guardians of the Galaxy for two for sure.
Like I said, I hope it does well, but like it just got B-list movie written all over it for me.
The villain for Suicide Squad, if I found it, is Starro the Conqueror. So that's gonna be the villain. It's it's like a villain that's from space. Seems like from which I'm not too familiar with Starro myself. I just sometimes like with Suicide Squad, like the first one, for example, I felt like the characters in the Suicide Squad were very like a lot of them were very street level compared to Enchantress, who pretty much became the villain in the movie. She was so much more powerful than them, and I'm like, I don't understand how y'all beat her. I felt like Enchantress should have been in the first Suicide Squad. I felt like she could have been a perfect villain for like the Justice League Dark. Somebody that Constantine and all of them could have contested against, because it's black magic versus black magic here versus like Harley, you got a mallet, girl. Like, what are you gonna really do against this chick that can probably control you? Like, so that's kind of like some things I kind of have grips with. But I think I was even saying before, with the Suicide Squad, which is what it's titled, with the Suicide Squad, I think the cast is so big because, like I said, rumors, things I've heard is that some of those characters are going to be them trying to get another team, because everything that happened, a lot of the characters died in the previous Suicide Squad, so they're gonna try to put this team together. But they're all gonna, from what I heard, they're all gonna get killed, and then that's when Harley and all of them are gonna come back into it. They got Amanda Waller has to bring Harley back in, and that's where Bloodshot and Peacemaker and all those characters come into the fold, and then they put the legit team. Because I'm just saying, Polka Dot Man,
Amanda
I don't know how much you gonna do, man.
Cards in. I said Amanda just really threw all the cards in. She put everybody in that she could expose.
Yeah, I mean, she has access at Argus. She has so much access to so many villains that I got put away. She can, assemble a team at will, pretty much.
One of the villains that I am looking forward to will definitely be King Shark.
Yes,
that's my favorite.
I'm gonna tell you. I'm gonna tell you why, because that Harley Quinn show that came out, he was one of my favorite characters.
King Shark has got a lot of shine, man. Like since he was able to, because with Flash TV show, which something people never would have thought, because a lot of those shows from the CW, they never really had like a high, effects budget or anything like that. For them, when they pulled off King Shark and the Flash TV show, is just, at this point, it's the sky's the limit of what the character. Because he's in Suicide Squad, he's in the new Suicide Squad game as well. So it's like seeing him everywhere now. And I think in the Suicide Squad game, he's actually voiced by the wrestler Samoa Joe is voicing King Shark. So that's pretty cool too. Any more thoughts on Suicide Squad before we move on?
I was going to ask y'all who are y'all looking forward to?
In Suicide Squad, I really want to see what John Cena character does. I haven't, aside from the Marine, I haven't seen him in too many, because he's done very well from a comedy perspective.
Yeah, he's actually pretty funny, actually.
I'm giving that Weasel a side eye though.
Yeah, the Weasel is, because Sean Gunn is James's brother, right?
Yeah.
So I'm just kind of like, I don't feel like he's gonna keep his brother around in this movie very long. That's what I feel like. Because Weasel, I looked at his powers. I'm like, only thing he has is great hand-to-hand comeback, and he has great agility. So I'm like, I don't know about this one.
I'm excited to see Harley's outfit. It's straight from the video games.
Oh, yeah,
right. The black and red.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's one thing about the Suicide Squad. As far as those set of movies, really projected. Like she had Birds of Prey now, and then now we got pretty much like Suicide Squad 2. So it's really like, especially that character, if anything, got a tremendous push. And the character, like I said, we all know that Harley Quinn has only been around since like 95 from the animated series. So
92.
92? Was it that?
Yeah.
Was it that long? Okay, man. Feeling old.
Because she was just supposed to be a support character for the Joker for a couple of episodes, and then she got so popular that it was just like, okay, we got to keep her around, like Urkel was.
Yeah. All right, now we got the Snyder Cut, the full trailer from the Snyder Cut. Man, this trailer just kind of really just showed how much was cut, how much. I mean, Zack Snyder was even talking and tweeting about, just showing excerpts from the script, showing storyboards and all this type of stuff. This is what the ideas I had, and so this is finally
it's a totally different movie.
Yes, totally different movie.
Entire different movie.
So Darren, let me ask you this in relation to, so say you working on the movie, you can put all this work in to create this movie, and then executives get involved and they just like cut it down to basically the bare minimum. How would you like literally feel about that?
Like if I was like an actor in the movie?
Yeah.
Well, that actually what's crazy is that actually happened in the Spider-Man movie, Far From Home. You can only see my part in the Blu-ray version, because in the theater version they cut it. They cut it due to the time restraint in the budget. I don't know if you guys saw the link from what they cut out of the theater version, the scene with Mysterio. I think, let me see if I could actually, let me send it to you, because the chat's open, right? I think I can see it.
Yeah, it's open. Yeah,
it's open.
All right, let me send it to you. Hang on one second. Well, it kind of sucks though, because like you don't know what they're gonna do. You know what I mean? Like, but I get it. It's that's their job to do that. There's so much in it. Like it has to get cut down.
Yeah. But with the Justice League movie, so we got confirmed today. I know it came out this morning. So the movie will be 4 hours, which I feel is justified, honestly. With everything that has gone down with trying to get this and really to tell the story properly and everything. And I kind of feel like with Snyder, he got a bad rep to begin with, because with BVS, Batman vs Superman, everybody complained about BVS was the story was being told very quickly. It was jumping from one thing to the next thing to the next thing, and it wasn't really kind of a thing that was really like just how the story was told. It was just one of those things where it's just like, okay, everything is escalating like really quickly.
I'll admit I was one of those people.
Yeah, no, I was too. It was just escalating like super, super quick. And because even like we've talked about this before on NerdFlow, like if you go watch the ultimate version of BVS, even they added in the scene from Afghanistan that explained a ton. That one scene that they cut out of the movie, because I know I was wondering the same thing. It's like, why is Lois in Afghanistan? Why did he, the whole thing with the courthouse when it blew up, I'm like, nobody knew anything about that, and they took out key parts of the movie that explain things, and then the viewers kind of like just like, okay, I don't know why this is happening.
So is there anybody here who has not seen the extended?
Oh, you see that guy in the yellow jacket back there? That's me. When we got on that set, I remember like we watched Jake Gyllenhaal just do his thing, and then he messed up like his lines or whatever, and then he was like fuck, he kept going over his thing, and he got up doing these little exercises. It was like really cool to like watch him, like actors. Every actor, has their own different prep, and it was just cool to watch him like really do that. And that scene, we were his crew. We were actually he basically told us we're about to get, we're going on a dangerous mission, and we're pretty much, most of us are going to get killed, if not all of us.
Wow.
And they were debating that should they have let this part in the theater version.
Okay.
I think they could have, because I remember the scene where he was trying to get everything together with everybody that was playing their parts and everything that was going on to finally take down Spider-Man. I remember that.
But his prep, man, was unbelievable. Like, that's my personal.
Cool. Okay, let's see here. I want to finish this thing. Okay. So Snyder Cut. Some other things we saw was we actually saw Darkseid for the first time. This is something that was, again, cut out of the movie. They wanted to build it up like I think the plan was like a trilogy or for Justice League for it to eventually get to being Darkseid, kind of sort of how Marvel did the Avengers. But from Snyder's standpoint, he was supposed to show he's a younger version of Darkseid. So it's not from what I've been hearing, it's not an older Darkseid, it's a younger version of Darkseid. So we got that. We also got a glimpse of Iris West, because I remember the young lady that was portraying Iris West. I remember she got on social media and was saying that her part got cut out of Justice League as well. And I know with the Flash, it seems like we get to see a lot of the, especially with this scene right here, we get to see a lot of the backstory, because we didn't get to see none of that with the Flash. And these are characters. If you're a person that's not familiar with comics, they didn't show anything as far as from a backstory of these characters if you just came in just like not knowing anybody.
Yeah.
And Superman's suit was black. I don't know if y'all saw that.
Yes,
but
that was a rumor that a lot of people shot down. Like, no, he doesn't have black. Yes, he did. He did.
That was a black suit.
And then I heard about the extra scenes with Aquaman going down to the Atlantean. There was some extra stuff in there too.
Yes, I saw that in there as well. I'm trying to think who else had some extra stuff. Well, of course, Steppenwolf looked way different from the version that we got in the theoretical release.
Yeah,
more spiky.
Yeah, well, he looks more menacing. I'll say that much, because they did some CG with the actor that was voicing him or that was playing him, put his face on there, and I think what we saw Steppenwolf in Batman vs Superman in the ship when he got ready to bring up when Lex brought up Doomsday. So we saw a glimpse of him there, which looked different from what came in the theoretical version. So
it looks like they, as much as they cut out, it looks like they just wanted to go for the casual audience, and they didn't want to turn this into some Lord of the Rings super nerd saga, which it should have been.
It should have. It's,
you know what I mean? But they just said, "Hey, we're going for the cashies on this one." So
yeah, it's like, we're gonna tell this story in I don't know how long BVS is. We're gonna tell this story in 2.5 hours. Like, no, man, we did this other time. It didn't work out that well.
Yeah.
And they kind of
do it right.
Yeah, and they kind of hinged on and the fans are kind of like, us fans can be our own worst enemy when it comes to some of this stuff, because it's just like comparing Marvel to DC. Some people probably may not understand that DC's way darker from a standpoint, because there were certain things where Josh Whedon's version where they kind of turned up the brightness a little bit to make it more bright, where Snyder's version was darker. So it's just little things that they shouldn't have been messed with. That's the difference between DC and Marvel, and that's why people are the fans of the respected publications that they are. So, the Batman. So later last night we got the trailer for the Batman, and I gotta say I like the tone. It's super gritty.
Yeah, it looks like there's more detective work involved. Detective work.
It reminds me, like, the Batman, the trailer reminds me of, if for anybody that grew up in the 90s, like any like super like dark, dim movie, like say for example like The Crow or something like that. It has that grimy feel to it, and I like it. Because the thing like because like the Schumacher films were very bright, very colorful, you know.
Yeah, like even though I'm still not sold on, I have to watch it to change my opinion. But you know, the like how dark the first couple of original Batman movies were. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? Like they didn't like, and then when Joel Schumacher took over, everything just started getting outrageous, and that's why I'm more of a fan of the Keaton Batman than the Schumacher Batmans, like the Val Kilmer or, you know, George Clooney, because everything just started getting outrageous, and like they put
how many villains can we fit in one movie?
Basically, yeah. And, you know, it was just like, okay, Batman and Batman Returns, you got Catwoman and the Penguin. Okay, that's cool. You know, the first Batman movie, he just go against the Joker. That makes a lot of sense.
Right.
But, you know, and the suit was simple. It wasn't all these special gadgets. Like, the gadgets were simple. It just got down to the nitty-gritty of what Batman was.
Yeah.
And then Schumacher comes along, and they just take it in a whole nother direction.
Yeah. And then we got Nolan's, his take on it was primarily, what if Batman was a normal, in real life, he's a billionaire and he wants to be a superhero. And he basically takes his money and becomes a superhero. So we got that. And then we got, Matt Reeves' Batman. So from the trailer, we kind of, showing the date at the end, it kind of like question marks. We already know who that is. But the one thing about it, though, this is like, this is year 2 of Batman. So just to kind of give you an idea of, around as far from a timetable or timeline where this is. And for Batman, this is year 2 of Batman. As you do notice, if you saw the actual person that was with the duct tape with his face wrapped up, that's the Riddler. So Riddler doesn't even have the top hat. He doesn't have all the fancy with the cane or none of that. So this is like early on. So nothing you won't. It seems like you won't get. I know us as comic book fans, we're kind of mark for like seeing those costumes that look like the set pieces that we see in the comics and stuff like that. I'm pretty sure we'll probably see it at some point in the movie. Probably more towards the end than the beginning, stuff like that. So
the only thing that's really drawn me into this movie is that I watched the Batman that this movie based on, the animated movie, last night. Called The Batman. I think it's year 1, year 2, something like that. But you know what I'm saying? Even though I wasn't sold on Robert Pattinson looks just like the character that's in the animated movie.
Mm-hmm. So here's the thing about that young.
He's still like a vampire, and he still look pale. So
vampire bat.
And he's dark and brooding, just like Batman. So
yeah.
It works.
I mean, it's almost making me feel like they should have did this Batman versus Dracula. So
now the one thing about this though, like now that you bring up the Batman TV show, in the Batman, I can't think of his name, but in the show, that becomes Clayface in the Batman is like his good friend. So I know Tink has said this before. As far as like Clayface ever coming into the fold, now with the tone of how this movie is, it's I wonder if we could possibly, I don't know if there's going to be a trilogy of what the plan is, but we could potentially get Clayface. Maybe.
The way the tone this movie going in is going to look like it's going to be more realistic and not super villains. Not super villains, but just like regular villains. Like Riddler is just a human. Like it seems like the villains he gonna be dealing with is gonna be just humans.
Yeah.
That's just
most of his villains are, for the most part, most of them are mostly, gangsters and thugs, and for the most part, the Batman goes. Clayface is probably one out of aside from like the human bat, most of them are.
Killer Croc.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. King Shark.
Yeah. Mostly, if they ever introduce because with this Batman, it's in a lot. They've already said too as well, because it's a different Earth. So the Batman, which is played by Ben Affleck in Justice League, it's part of a different universe that they're a part of. The Justice League is, versus this particular Batman is part of his own. So DC is really playing off the 52 Earths, and as far as different versions, doppelgangers, all that good stuff. So we're gonna have multiple Batman. Speaking of Batman, this is just something real quick that was mentioned too. So the Flash movie, they show some screenshots, which is supposedly, I think it's going to be called Flashpoint. With the Flash, they showed off the new suit, and in the background, they have a picture of Batman, which looks like the Michael Keaton Batman.
If he got the yellow symbol on it, because Keaton's Batman, the only one that had the yellow and black symbol on it.
Yeah.
And so rumor has it too that Batman actually, the suit that the Flash is wearing, he created that suit for the Flash. So that's gonna be like kind of the connection between those two with that. Here's what I hope with this Ezra Miller Flash, the running. I hope they fix the running. I hope Snyder fixed the running. Cause him tripping, man, it's just like I'm a Flash fan, and I know what the different color lightning means, and the level that Ezra Miller was in Justice League, I'm like, dude, you shouldn't be tripping, man. You've had these powers for quite some time.
Really irked me. That irked me so bad. I'm like, that's the Flash.
But he tripped. But y'all, even in Justice League, he tripped when he saw that Superman could keep up with him. That's what caught him off guard and made him trip. Because when Superman turned his eyes and saw that he was coming around, you see the look on his face like, what the? And he tripped. He lose concentration.
Yeah, they kind of show that even in like the Smallville series when Superman called up to him, like he didn't trip, but like he had that look on his face like, oh man, like then he just took off.
Even in some of the cartoons, the first time when they showed when Superman caught up the Flash, he caught out like it's a running thing when when they first, Superman first catch up to him, and then that's how Flash ended up getting faster because he didn't want Superman to catch up to him. Yeah. That's how he ended up going into Flashpoint.
Yeah.
So yeah, man. But DC Fandom overall was great. I mean, it held up to the hype, because I know there was a lot of rumors coming out about a lot of the stuff that we saw on yesterday. DC really showed improved, especially just with what we got to look forward to from games to movies and all that stuff. And there was some other stuff with with TV shows as well. I can't think of the young lady's name, but we also saw I saw some screenshots of the young lady that's playing the new Batwoman. So they're really showing improving now. Now next thing is going to be okay, we got the next Comic-Con coming up. What is, a lot of people probably wondering okay, what's Marvel got on deck now? So
right. You know what? Feige saw this. Feige said, "Yeah, I got to dig a little deeper in my repertoire."
Yeah, well, his homeboy is like the one of the head guys over at DC that he used to work with. So I mean, friendly competition, makes it all good for the fans.
That's Feige.
Exactly.
But they need to thank CW for real.
Yeah.
The shows. Crisis on Infinite Earths, I think if it wasn't for that, this would have never happened.
Yeah, because they got good response from just how they rolled everything together and, kind of allowed it to, this is all one shared universe. And it's and then I also think too that Ezra Miller's, because I don't think, did he in Justice League? I can't remember. Did he ever call himself the Flash?
No, he didn't even have a name in the Justice League.
Right. So he said that. So evidently, from him meeting,
because he was like, what when he met Barry from that or from the CW world, he was like, I'm the Flash, and he was like, what the what?
Yeah. And so And so what they said was that's now in the when the movie comes out, he's gonna start calling himself that because he didn't have a name for himself. So it's like, I'm like, okay, I see how y'all tying the TV shows into the movies. So it's gonna be good, man. It's gonna be good. All right, man. So I think this is gonna bring this issue of NerdFlow Podcast to an end. We would like to thank Mr. Darren Lee Campbell for coming on the show, man. Thank you for sharing, all your experiences and everything to get to this point where you are. We truly, truly appreciate it. Do you have any other words? You want to give out like social media or anything like that for people who want to kind of know more about you that may be hearing about you for the first time?
No, first, definitely want to say thank you to you guys. I appreciate you guys for having me. And my social media is going to be my full name, at Darren Lee Campbell, for the Instagram. Instagram is pretty much the main thing that I use.
Okay.
Also, if you guys want to know more information about the film, Look Twice, just go to, looktwicefilm.com, and there's a little submission down at the bottom, it's like a stay informed, like a questionnaire thing. Just put your name and all that, email, and you can ask questions about the film. And I'm going to send you guys a link as well. So you guys go ahead and do that. I'll send you guys a link. You guys can check it out.
Cool.
All right.
Awesome.
Cool. All right, man. Well, this brings this episode to a close. We will catch you guys on next week. We'll be on issue 150 of NerdFlow Podcast, and we will catch you guys on next week.
All right, y'all. Deuces.
Thanks again. Shit, guys.
All right.
Okay.
Hey, Derek.